amazing player. Mac Jones is not. Listen, I don't agree with a lot of the handling that we've seen of Mac Jones with Bill Belichick. I think there's been a lot of poor decision-making on Belichick's part over the last couple of years. I also think Mac Jones is not what we thought he was, and his offensive line being better the year before helped him a lot. But the real question is, after the inept play that we've seen from Bill Belichick multiple weeks in a row now, or inept coaching, I should say. And it's crazy to say inept coaching with Bill Belichick. And it's no disrespect to who he has been, who he is, what he's accomplished. He is arguably the greatest coach
of all time.
I don't even know if it's arguably. He's the greatest football coach of all time.
Some people try to fight for Andy Reid, but I'm like, come on now.
Andy got a lot more winning to do.
Yeah, winning matters.
Andy's a better offensive scheme, though. But is this Bill Belichick's last season in New England? If you're Robert Kraft,
no.
How do you move on?
You know why? Because when Josh McDaniels gets fired, he'll be right back and calling the plays for him again. Josh McDaniels is a great offensive coordinator. But if we could how about we put Matt Eberflus, pair him with Josh McDaniels, we might actually have a super team for defense.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would absolutely love if Josh McDaniels came back to the Chicago Bears and was an offensive coordinator. I would love it, because I do think he is an elite offensive coordinator. He's just a trash head coach. I've said this multiple times, but I'm looking at Bill now. It just looks like he's done. It's not working. And normally Bill's the guy that's like, dig deep. We're going to figure this thing out. We're going to figure out a different way to do this. Bill O'Brien's also calling plays there. That doesn't make much sense either. Yeah, I mean, it's all bad.
Well, Bill was at Alabama when Mac was at Alabama, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Get to it. So, and this tricked me out every time I see it, because I never really watch it, and so when I see it, it's like,
oh, we got a hockey fight.
Hockey fight.
I didn't even know that was a
It's a hockey fight. Anyway, listen,
you want to go ahead?
No, let me ask y'all a question. I don't want to get too far off the rails with this, but this is in relation to Bill Belichick and just coaching in general. When you have talent like a Tom Brady, like Edelman, like Gronk back in the day, and then now you see him kind of regress with the teams that he's had recently. Does this say something about, is it really on coaching? Are they really legends like we say they are? Or is it really a combination of the players? Like Phil Jackson, after all that time in 11, became a GM of, what was it, the Knicks?
Yeah.
He sucked.
It's
Michael
very
Jordan
different being a coach than being a GM.
Well,
that's a fact. I'm just talking about when you see these great people that we put up here in this pedestal and they have these different roles or they have a different environment, it's almost like they can't.
I get exactly what you're saying.
Can't make it.
Bill's going through a bad time here, right? Like let's not get it twisted. Bill's been the GM the entire time.
Yeah.
He's built these teams. You know what I mean? Like, he's been the guy finding the little spunky white dude that comes across the middle, and you're like, why does he have 1,100 yards?
But he's been able to. Shout out to Drew. He's a great coach, but a bad GM. I doubt that. Well, he has a bad track record of certain drafts. He can't draft a receiver.
Can't draft.
But he has been able to, switch up and adapt to the game. I mean, he basically brought out that he made that when Randy Moss got there, Tom Brady really grew into his game. That was a different offense than when it was with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. The first iteration of Belichick was they were running with the running game, and they had like the no-name receivers. Then they had a great defense. So I think it's just depending on the players that come in and how they can adapt the system to the players. Yeah. To your point, Jordan, it's still 50-50, coaching and players. Phil Jackson, I mean, we even switching from like with Doug Collins to
I think
Phil,
basketball is too different from football.
It's still, what I'm getting at is
football is way more on coaching.
Yeah, because it's all about scheme and execution on each one. But it's
I would say you're looking at like 60-40. But coaching importance versus player.
Well, okay, yeah.
Because if my scheme is great,
yeah,
I can make mediocre players look better.
You're right. I mean, it's even when you go back to the Magic Johnson versus the coach that Westhead with his system versus the players. It's like, yeah, the system is cool, but when you have exceptional talent.
Yeah, basketball is too different because like I've seen terrible coaches get taken to NBA final.
Yeah. But I would say this to your
David
point
Blatt.
though. Bill is in a
I've seen
different.
terrible coaches get taken a long way.
My best take on it is that Bill is in a different time. There was a time where Bill could talk to people like they were like we know he could talk to people. He doesn't exist in that space anymore. You can't talk to these grown men like that. They come in. A lot of them now are coming in making more than players made years ago. Right. So the league has changed culturally. The whole sport has changed, and the attitude of the players has changed. You're not in a situation where you're going to find a lot of people who are desperate to just make this particular team.
You're probably right. It's more business. It's not about the love of the game. It's just get this money and let me get, do what I got to do, preserve myself, my body, because the information's out there, right? They're probably more privy to information, especially with the CTE stuff. Yeah. It's like, look, I'm not doing all this extra crazy stuff. Let me get my money, put this stuff up.
I don't think you'll ever get another Tom Brady because of that. Tom Brady was a special talent simply because he was always this extreme underdog who literally had to fight. Like even for his first 3 Super Bowls. I don't know if y'all remember, like when around the time he got injured, y'all remember those reports? Like, is this the end of Tom Brady?
Yeah,
and they were bringing about the Aaron Rodgers thing and stuff like that. And Aaron was starting to cook and stuff like that. And then he runs off another 10 years. Like there was a moment where people were trying to pass up Tom. Tom had like one mediocre year, then he killed the rest of it, right? You don't get that mentality from a level of privilege that people have today.
Yeah,
can't.
I think go ahead, Ringo.
Yeah, I think honestly what it is, just piggybacking off of what Kid just said, right? Like, I mean, I think it's just a different time. Like you're dealing with an entirely different locker room. Now with that being said, I feel like, because if we really been looking at the games, his defense is not played bad. Like he's made great defensive picks. Like
Mac Jones just getting sacked in the end zone.
Yeah, like Gonzalez looks great. They brought back J.C. Jackson. We didn't even know Jabril Peppers actually looks like a competent player again.
This is true.
Like the defense isn't playing bad. I just think right now he can't reach the offense, and there's a disconnect between him and just that whole.
Well, I think you need that
thing right now.
Jones ain't gonna let
you
him
needed that Brady though.
I would say
right. You needed that.
But see, the thing is, you ain't playing good enough for you to even be.
You don't have that
doing
offense.
that.
You don't have that offensive leader though. That's the thing for me, right? You needed that Brady to say, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna hold y'all to what Bill's standard is offensively." Because Josh McDaniels left Tom Brady a couple of years and he wasn't the same Brady, but they still were good football teams. Tom Brady's never, craziest stat in the world, Tom Brady's never played in a football game where his team wasn't playoff eligible. That's the craziest stat. That's a Gretzky stat.
But I would say this too, though. You can't, for as long as he's been coaching.
Shout out to Rogue for the super chat.
As long as he's been coaching, it's hard to keep losing coaches. Like he's had great staffs and they all get promoted. And so it's hard to keep turning around and finding the next guy.
But Bill is Thanos though. Because he'd be like, y'all can't do what I do.
Yeah, right.
And where does that lead you?
But he's a great
back to me.
Right.
Every day, what we talking about? We really just talking about Vrabel, right? In the league right now. That's good.
Yeah, that's true.
Brian, Romeo Crennel, Charlie Weiss. There's been a number of guys that done really good under, but that's the thing about a head coach. It's like just because a guy is really good at one role doesn't mean that he's actually they have the ability to be that true leader. It's kind of like sometimes, like even in the corporate world, right? A lot of times that worker B does a really good job being a worker B. And then they promote that worker B to be a manager. But because he's a great worker B, he kills everybody else underneath him because he doesn't do what he wants. He doesn't understand how to manage people, doesn't know how to be a leader. So a lot of times these coaches are just getting promoted for doing a good job versus actually knowing how to manage and maintain the team.
If I'm Robert Kraft, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I think I have the conversation with Bill and I say, listen, we're gonna bring a GM in. We still want you to be our head coach. Because listen, Bill's still a great coach. Like, I don't think that coaching has passed him by. I think the GM process to me has passed him by, and they've missed on too many draft picks in a row, and that causes you to lose, right? I mean, we had N'Keal Harry. He just drafted him, 2 years ago? So, I try to have that conversation with him. If he's not willing to have that conversation, it might be time to move on. And then I guess what the next call is. Hey, Vrabel, What you doing?
Well,
because I already know what you bring. I already know what system you got. I already know. Now, granted, he got a contract and all of that. Yeah, I mean, you can't just get up out of that. But I mean, like, I think that is, it's okay for things to end. And I would like for it to end on the right foot. But knowing Bill, like, you're not going to take the job from
I
him.
would love to see like how Philly let Andy Reid go. He goes right to Kansas City, and then they take off. Let's just say Belichick doesn't work in New England, and we can be like, hey, come to Chicago.
Let me ask that though. Well, I mean, listen, he got all the same limitations here, like cold outside.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be.
Let me ask you this though: if Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, the duo, is available, that's the call y'all putting in. Head coach of the Chicago Bears.
Come here.
I don't want another rookie.
Okay.
I don't want a rookie.
Someone trying to understand what you're asking for.
Wait, are you saying to keep Justin Fields here and bring that in?
I don't care. I want infrastructure.
Justin is gone?
No.
Justin might be here. I don't know. If
no,
Justin's
I think Belichick would figure out they would use Fields.
They would bring Josh
That's the first time
in.
they would have an athletic quarterback. They tried that with Cam Newton, right? Fields is still a weapon.
Yeah.
They're gonna figure that, but the whole point is that they're gonna figure it out.
Bill wouldn't let Justin go.
No.
Bill would look at him and be like, "No, it's too much talent in that. I'll figure it out."
Bill,
Like, I figured it out with worse.
Yeah. To your point, if let's just say hypothetically they do come in, they keep him.
Yeah,
they're gonna get those linemen.
Yeah.
They're gonna build them.
Oh yeah, that's the main reason that I was like, hey, Bill's available. Y'all in on Bill because realistically speaking, Bill's coming here. There's a GM in place, and I know what the first thing Bill's gonna say. Hey, why y'all ain't built the line yet? Like, well,
he's
Bill,
not
we're working on it. You
Poles is not.
He's
gonna have input.
Defense the way he wants.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you can do that too. You can do that too coming into this draft. Though. Like that's the thing about how Ryan Poles. Like, there's a lot of people that have problems with Ryan Poles, but how Poles has set this up. We have not only our full slate of draft picks this year, we have other people's draft picks this year. Guess what you can attack? A 3 technique. You can go get a 3 technique this year. You get a 3 technique that actually can create some pressure, or maybe Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens keep developing. They moving in the right direction slowly, but moving in the right direction.
But that's based off that defense, though.
That's fine. But you go get Bill's what is Bill? Oh, Bill's a 3-4, ain't he?
He's 3-4. He adapts. The whole point is he's smart enough to adapt to the talent he has.
What's his championship though? His championship defense has well been
3-4.
They were 3-4. They had Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, he was like that with the Giants.
Vince Wilfork was a 4-3 guy that he was like, hey. You just big, and we gonna make this work.
He was like that with the Giants. Then he went to
he's been 4-3. Yeah, because he had LT. I mean, he's had
4-3 guys.
He can adapt.
Bill's a genius. He's a defensive genius. I ain't worried about him being able to adapt to the talent.
Bill walks through Chicago. You're getting a veteran QB.
I don't think so. We have a veteran QB. Justin Fields is a 3 years.
Yeah,
you're getting a good veteran QB.
You still got. There's still a
you
business
want Kirk
kid
to come here, don't you?
No, that's all he wants.
You want Kirk to come here.
Hold on.
39 years old. Give me Kirk.
Hold on. Let's be honest. If you had an all-star coach like Bill, who you had a short window to turn it around.
Hall of Fame, not all-star. What are we doing?
You know what I'm saying. Hall of Fame. I mean, he is the Hall of Fame for coaches. That's what it is.
That guy.
You're gonna go get the best available veteran QB you can get to run your scheme.
He's not doing that now.
I don't believe that because he's not doing it right now.
Right? He gets the horn for that one.
Right. He hates that kid. He hates that kid.
He drafted that kid.
He drafted him. He drafted a lot of guys.
You want to know why he hates that kid? That kid sat there was talking too much, and they were like, "Oh, he's trying to get him out of here." And Robert Kraft told him no. That's an actual report.
No, to your
that's an actual report. That Robert
but
Kraft told him
he's cycled through a number of quarterbacks. Like he's done the veteran as well as drafting guys. It's just he's not hitting. And we don't know what this scheme really is. I mean, you lose your offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels, who had a great run. I mean, that just comes with the territory. So now he's got to try to figure out as he rebuilds his team. The whole point, this is all hypothetical. Chat, this is all hypothetical. We don't know.
Yeah, Bill Belichick.
In a dream situation, I just want a real coach.
My dream situation is not even Bill Belichick. I want the next offensive genius. Go get me Ben Johnson.
Who says he's a genius?
On the Ben Johnson train.
No.
Don't.
My fear.
Don't start Don Burr.
My fear is always the same.
Coordinator, coach.
As a head coach, my fear that's his next step. He's an OC. He's building a scheme that's working. But my fear is always the same. It's the same as with Flus. Flus is. I'm gonna tell you this right now. After watching this defense change for 4 weeks,
he's a good DC.
He's a DC. He's a good DC.
Yeah, but he won't be here.
No, but what I'm saying is he's a good coordinator. I don't know what he is as a head coach.
Right.
I think he's a bad head coach. I think he's a bad leader of men right now as it stands. But as we continue to move on, I look around the league. I look at other guys. I look at guys like Bill Belichick. I don't care what you do as a coordinator, because to me, you're a great leader of men. I know for a fact when Bill speaks, people listen. I like having that many rings comes with that level of respect. With my fear with Ben Johnson is you bring Ben Johnson in here,
another rookie.
I don't know how he leads. I know his system works. Offensively, it might work out. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know how he leads. And offensively, it don't always work out if you don't have the same pieces here. Wani was a great OC.
Yeah.
Wani was an elite OC.
Norv Turner too.
Wani as a head coach was scary. Wani as a head coach was like, let me tell you something right now. If we make 6 more tackles to stop those guys from scoring touchdowns, we win that game. It's all about 6 tackles. Like, yeah, but they all were tackles that went into the end zone. Like, we lost 47-3. What are you talking about, Wani? So that's always my fear, man. That's always my biggest fear. Let's finish it off on this. We went a little long on that segment. That's all right, though. We're going to finish it out here because wanted to finish it out talking about the wildest things from the weekends, boys. Saw a lot of wild things this weekend. Want to get you guys' thoughts on it. And we can pick which one was the wildest. Caitlin Clark is back. Caitlin Clark sold out a football stadium.
This is the Beyonce of her time. No, Taylor Swift. She's the Taylor Swift of her sport.
I think Ringo is asleep now.
Hey, I appreciate you going with the white.
Wake up, man.
Listen,
She's a Taylor Swift of her sport.
Listen, Angel Reese ain't selling out football stadiums. I love Angel Reese. Y'all know I'm a bigger Angel Reese fan than I am a Caitlin Clark fan.
I was so mad at how they had that field, that court positioned on that field.
Hey, bro, that's the wildest thing too. That's the wildest thing.
Big stadium.
The field is the table.